Fuck. Okay, well, now we're here. To summarize what we just talked about, we have the audio, we don't have the video. I'm so sorry, Trip.
That's quite all right. Wait. I don't think I'm recording.
We gotta go. We gotta go, man.
All right, we're recording.
All right. So we started talking, and then we just... All right, we watched some movies. We are recording this review for the first time.
Yes.
It's been about 5 years, and our best review was The Meg, and so we thought we'd watch The Meg 2. We watched it at our movie night that we go to with our friends, and we were sitting in the driveway of our friend Scott, and we watched Orca first.
Yep.
And we felt that Orca was surprisingly had a Richard Harris, spoilers for Orca. Richard Harris dies at the end of Orca, and it was a beautiful moment which a blockbuster wouldn't do in the modern era, where the hero dies, and then the Orca dies underneath the ice. It's just such a dark ending, trying for pathos, and it was interesting.
Some 70s kind of, trashy kind of movie, or I don't know if it's trashy, but, kind of an exploitation kind of movie trying to capitalize off Jaws. But, yeah, it still had, like, a very dark ending.
Yeah, and it was not moving, but interesting, or at least unexpected. And then we watched The Meg 2, and the opening of Meg 2, I just felt the weight of my day fall on me. And I was just like, oh yeah, The Meg is just people in an underwater station sitting around talking to each other. And look, here's an actress from this Chinese co-production. Here's another actor. And it has a very corporate feel.
I really thought that The Meg 2, what was the other time? It was Meg 2...
The Trench.
The Trench. Okay, yeah. Meg 2, The Trench. Like, I really thought, I was concerned because I did enjoy Orca. So I thought, okay, well, Meg 2 is going to be a huge letdown for everybody, and it's just going to be boring, and everybody's going to be upset. But I thought Meg 2 was better. It was superior to the Meg.
I agree.
Okay, yeah. It had more fun, I felt like. The first Meg it was kind of joyless in a way, and everything was just too smooth, but yet also you couldn't really tell what was going on. And there was some of that in Meg 2. The first third or half were very, it felt like a video game, but not a fun video game, just some cutscenes that were happening, and everything was just kind of indistinct, where you couldn't really tell what was exactly happening when they were underwater, and it was rough. But then the second half of the movie, it really picks up, and it's really fun. They go to something called Fun Island, which is actually fun, and that's when it really picks up. Because the poster features Jason Statham on a jet ski, and so I was waiting for him to get on the jet ski, and when they went to Fun Island, I was like, okay, this is where he gets the jet ski, and that's where he got the jet ski, and it was great. That was a lot of fun. That was really enjoyable. So yeah, all the stuff on Fun Island, it was still it was cheap, but it was still a lot of fun. It was cheap with the way that it dealt with, just the annoying tourists and stuff like that, where they had close-ups of them eating and stuff.
Yeah.
Where you're just clearly supposed to be repulsed by these people. But it was still, so it was...
Shades of Piranha 3D.
Yeah.
The best scene in Piranha 3D.
Yeah, exactly. And they had, again, like Jaws and all those movies, that has some the main character telling everybody, get out of the water, you got to get out of the water, and everybody's still just partying, having fun. That trope. So that was cool. But yeah, the Fun Island stuff was a really good time. And yeah, it may have been that we were watching it with a group, and I'm sure that helped some. Even though watching it with the first Meg with you in the theater, we were laughing and having some fun. But the first one was, if I'd watched it by myself, I would have just gotten no joy out of it. But watching it with you and then talking about it did bring some amount of joy. So this one, watching it with the larger group, was really fun, and it was Yeah, you could just tell that they leaned into what the first one should have been more
Yeah.
of. As
And
far,
maybe they had a larger budget for
yeah,
this, but I mean, like like they had the images of Jason Statham leaping through the air and stabbing things with explosive spears, and finally killing a Meg with a helicopter blade that he lifted. And
and we discussed whether or not a man could pick up a helicopter blade. So that was fun. That was a good time. Uh, yeah, it was just it was
octopus killing people with its tentacles, and
yeah,
yeah,
it was a lot of fun. And then at the end, the end credits featured a rap that was the Chomp song by Paige Kennedy, one of the actors in the movie. Who I didn't care for him as an actor, but the actual like song about the rap song about a megalodon was just wonderful. Like that. After that song, I was saying like if I had some say in making this movie, I would say we have to have a rap song that's about a megalodon chomping people, and that's exactly what we got.
he said, "I'm the megalodon." Chomp, 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 chomp.
Chomp,
what a silly...
chomp. Yes, it was great.
And people pointed out, this calls to mind LL Cool J singing the rap in Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, my hat's like a shark's fin, and so yeah,
Jacques repeatedly said.
Yep. So yeah, it was just a really fun night. Like between the two movies, it was a really good time. The Meg 2 was surprisingly fun. Like I think that was what upset me about the first one, was I just thought this should be more fun. It should either lean into the silliness of it, or it should try to be more serious and actually, but it just never. And maybe some of that, the second one was helped by not having a love interest or like trying to shoehorn a love story into it.
Yeah, and she mysteriously died.
Yeah, they just decided we've got to get her out of this.
Yeah, maybe she just didn't want to come back.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe she recognized how terrible her plot was.
Yeah.
And the only thing interesting about the first one that I remember that we talked about was just that the inappropriateness of her best friend dying tragically, and the next scene she sees Jason Statham in a towel, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Jason Statham in a towel!" And it's just like, why would she? It felt like about 5 minutes had passed since her friend was eaten by the megalodon, and like the images of, I don't know, like I enjoyed, and Scott mentioned a monster movie, and that's all this was at the end, and it's just
yes.
like, why do you have to have the boring part? I guess it's budget. Like they had the most budget they had, but still they were cheap in their digital effects, obviously, throughout. And I read about a shot of from inside the shark, the megalodon rising, and everybody really liked that shot or seemed to respond to it.
Yes.
Like it was just a viewpoint from it internally that as humans just kind of got caught in its mouth, and that was just a thoughtful thing. And we should mention, we mentioned this tonight, this is by Ben Wheatley, who's artistic film director, who his name, we went over his names, and different people are fans.
Are you a fan of his work at all?
I've only seen the lesser Ben Wheatley films and Meg 2. I've seen Free Fire and High Rise, which are very beautifully directed films, but they're not as well loved as Kill List and Sightseers, and I haven't seen Kill List and Sightseers, but I have seen other ones. I know that his other, in Field of England, I haven't seen. So I like a lot of his other stuff is at least so thoughtful, and the thoughtfulness, visually there's some nice things here, but again, there's a quote from Robert Rodriguez, which is, once you make a $200 million movie, it's not your movie. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think it did feel so much like corporate product.
Yep.
That even though I like I like Jason Statham jumping through the air and stabbing things. I love the Transporter films. I love the ridiculousness of that. And I love the spirit of international co-productions and how they're like, hey, this is a big world, and we're going to try to make a movie. Maybe, and they're movies that are basically for kids who like monsters, but they're fun movies. But there's a certain
cynicism to it.
There's just like, I don't know. It's just like, it's like, the Tower of Babel. It's like you can't really say anything.
Right.
It's just like, you can't communicate across cultures, so why even try? You can only have monsters attack people for money.
Yes.
And this apparently was a flop. It took, we were going to go see this a long time ago, but I got sick with COVID and I had to work and other things. So, like, the point is that it's a terrible movie. It was absolutely terrible, but we enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah,
It was
that's the
fun,
important
and there
thing.
was some thought. There were some nice shots and some thoughtful things. I did enjoy it when the woman's head exploded because it
Yeah.
decompressed. Like that was like again, that's from a different movie. Like just like
Yes. Yeah. There was some of the dialogue was just brutal. You know, it felt like it was written by like AI or like it
yeah,
did not feel. There was just a lot, and some character stuff was off. The Paige Kennedy character, there was some stuff off there with the way,
yeah.
it was just
He was written like comic relief, like
yes,
LL Cool J comic relief from Deep Blue Sea, like
yes,
literally like the same lines of dialogue.
yes.
And it's just like it's
Just
been
lots of
30
him
years.
just saying "damn" or "what the hell," and it was
Yeah,
just like that was rough. By the end, though, it was weird how it became like I think it was Scott who said it became a screwball comedy toward the last third or fourth of the movie, where it just becomes just the guys like eyes bugging out and then running off together, and
and
like.
they're like, aha, we're quipping. Oh, we almost got eaten by Megalon. Ha ha.
And the first part of the movie is not like that. It's very, kind of serious, or it tries to be serious, and
Mm-hmm.
very, the deaths feel a little bit more tragic. But then eventually they just get to Fun Island, and it's just people eating in a disgusting way, and you're just like, oh, I can't wait till they get eaten.
Yeah, and
And,
that's about it. Yeah, like I was gonna say there were some shots that were nice. There's a shot where they're walking. They have to walk underwater, and also I wasn't out here, but movie night recently watched Underwater, and apparently it was reminiscent of a scene in Underwater. But they have to go underwater, and there's a shot that it was like 6 of them in a row. And I was like, maybe they're referencing this repeated shot in Saving Private Ryan, where it's like the 6 or 7 people in a row on a hill, and it just looked like that. And there's another shot where there were the dinosaur creatures that just flew out of the trench, I guess. And they the trench is the something permaclimb trench that monsters escape from. Anyway, you could see the grass moving, and I was like, oh, that's kind of like Jurassic Park 2. And there's a bunch of stuff.
Ryan, one of the guys we watched it with, Ryan was saying that he read the Meg books, I guess, which this one was based on. The Trench, I guess, was the name of it. That was part of the Meg series, I guess, of books. But I didn't read who the author was.
Steve Alton.
Okay.
I read the Meg when I was a kid too.
Oh wow. Okay.
I don't remember anything.
I don't
about
remember you saying that after the first one.
I think I did.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't. I think I did. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I
Were-
don't remember anything
Do you remember
about
the book
it.
being good? Okay.
I don't remember anything about it. I remember the cover of the book and that it was blue. That's all I got.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I didn't read it. I don't know. If I did, it was not memorable to me.
Yeah.
So but I don't know. I was gonna say also, Chris. Hello to Chris, because you are probably watching this. Or you might watch this.
Thanks
And-
for watching
And
our other
yeah,
one.
we wished you were here because this night was made for you.
Yes.
This night has quite a few monster movies. You like to watch Jaws ripoffs in a row, and this is exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the things we said was that we couldn't remember plot points from the original Meg. And,
Yeah.
and you were better at that than me.
They
And
repeated a scene with I think it's Jason Statham's character's his daughter. They repeated a scene where she's standing in front of a window and the Meg is like approaching the window. I'm pretty sure that was a repeat from the first Meg. And then there were a few others. There was like a little fluffy dog, just like in the first Meg, where I think in the first Meg they make you think that the dog was eaten, and then eventually at the end when everybody's okay, the dog just walks up on the shore, and then
oh shit! Oh, sorry.
and,
Did my car? I'm not used to this. Okay, there we go. So let's just keep going.
yeah,
We only got 5 minutes anyway.
yeah. So they this one they brought back. It was either the same dog or the same type dog, like a fluffy little 10-pound dog, and they brought that back for Fun Island, and this time they had the dog in the water, but they didn't even make you think that the dog was chomped or anything. So, but yeah, so they did a few repeats, and I'm sure there were more really playing to the fans of the Meg one, some fan service for them. And so, but yeah, I think this one was, it helped. I think it does help that we watched that first one and we went in with low expectations, but expectations to have fun talking about it. And then this one was actually way more fun than the first one, I think. Yeah, like you say, it was still very corporate and cynical and all that kind of thing. But I had a good time with it. And I think it leaned into some of the things that I wanted the first one to.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated that.
And it is a thing with movies, any type of movie where you have monster and the budget costs to make the monster, so you have to have talking scenes that lead up to monster. But if there was going to be a Meg 3, which they planted that they one of the guy who was always set up to die, I think his name is Jeijing, he believed at the end that he could control the Megs, and so therefore that would be like Jurassic World movies where you can control the dinosaurs. And so I assume if this had succeeded, they would have had a Meg 3 where he could control the Megs. But anytime you have a monster, you have scenes without the monster, and that's actually most of the movie, and then you just get a little bit of the monster. But this was pretty good. Once we got to Fun Island, we had nonstop monster action until the end. Yeah. And again, I think that the thing that we would ask in the future, Orca is 90 minutes long. Meg 2 should also be 90 minutes long.
I think it was like 115 minutes maybe. They should almost basically 2 hours.
They should cut down that first section where it is trying to do drama or whatever the heck it's trying to do, and it should just be monster fights.
Yeah, and I wonder, I don't know if that has anything to do with the trying to please many people from all kinds of cultures or what, but maybe that's what it was. But yeah, and then it featured a song in Mandarin. That's not a cover of "That's Not My Name," I think is the name of the song. It's like a pop song. It featured that, and then it opened with Queen's "Under Pressure," which at some point in the movie it dealt with being under pressure because of water. And so they paid that off. They paid off the Queen song. With David Bowie, and so that was good.
And we thought it was Vanilla Ice at the beginning.
Yeah, I was hoping it was.
Yeah. We have about 2 minutes. I think I could start again, but I think is okay just to finish on this. I don't know how long we've been recording.
Yeah.
But it's been a pleasure to talk about this movie with you. It's in Scott's driveway.
It's unfortunate that this time we didn't get a security guard pull up behind us, and then we discussed whether or not we should stop recording.
Yes. Yeah.
And I insisted that we should continue because it would be more entertaining if we got arrested or something while we're doing a review of the Meg in the Malco.
Well, we're still theater. Out in the open in Scott's neighborhood, and we're probably spooking his neighbors. But I have a deposition early in the morning, so I have to go do that. But I just find I enjoy these movies. I think any human activity is worthwhile and interesting, regardless of its merit. I think humans are we can relate to each other as humans, even if if you read something like a Roman poem from 2,000 years ago and it's shit, it's still interesting. Yeah, it's still something.
Yeah, you opened tonight with a poem, which I appreciated.
Yeah, Marion Moore's "A Grave," which is a very creepy poem about the sea.
Yeah, it was really fun to hear a poem, and then we were like, okay, let's watch Orca.
Yeah,
so that was good.
And Orca was amazing.
It really was.
For what it was.
Yeah, we should talk about Orca. But the Meg 2, I'm going to give it a solid thumbs in the middle.
Yeah, solid thumbs in the middle too. I don't know. We have 55 seconds or 47 seconds, but we enjoyed this. This was nice, and and we need to find some way to for people to watch this review.
We gotta monetize this shit.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Trip.
This was a lot of fun.
This is awesome, and I'm gonna stop. So bye. Thank you for watching our review. Thank you.
Chomp.